Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening to this episode of Sleep and Relax ASMR. Before getting into this episode, I would like to make an exciting announcement. If you want more Sleep and Relax ASMR, you can get it by subscribing and listening to Sleep and Relax ASMR and Friends. Sleep and Relax ASMR and Friends is a separate podcast that will feature bonus episodes from yours truly, as well as episodes from some very talented ASMR creators. Episodes will be released every Tuesday and Thursday, so you can get extra ASMR, and you'll be able to hear more episodes from this podcast and other excellent creators. You can find Sleep and Relax ASMR and Friends on iTunes, Radio Public, Anchor.fm, and other podcast directories. Thanks for listening. Let's jump into this episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sleep and Relax ASMR. Today I'll be rambling about some random things. Certainly about diners, drive-ins, and dives, the TV show, and maybe some other topics if I get around to it. For those of you unfamiliar with this series, I take a couple different topics and I ramble on about them. It's incoherent, nonsensical, and it may put you quite literally to sleep, but if so, then great. That works for everyone. If not, sorry. Let's just jump into it. And where I'd like to start is Johnny Rockets. Yes, Johnny Rockets. I have a thing for themed or retro diners, and I'm not sure what it is. There's this allure to them. Allure. I'll move on. There's this allure to them that I like, and yet, funny enough, I've never been to a Johnny Rockets. You know, some kids grow up about Disney World. I grew up craving Johnny Rockets, yet I've never planned a trip to one. And there is a Johnny Rockets in the same mall that I frequent to go to the movies occasionally. So it's not as if I don't have the option of, actually eating at one. I kind of got ahead of myself. If you are an international listener, you may not know what Johnny Rockets is. Well, it is a 1950s themed diner style restaurant. So the decoration would include, like a jukebox, cardboard cutout of men and women just after World War II, the booths with the plushy seats and all that. It's cool stuff. And I've always wanted to eat there. And I'm reviewing the menu here since just as I like to plan trips, I am unlikely to actually make. I also like to plan what I'm going to eat at places that I may or may not visit. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to pick what I would eat at Johnny Rockets, and without any shadow of a doubt, I will 100% definitely, absolutely eat at a Johnny Rockets. That is my promise to you. As silly as a promise as that is. Don't want to let you down. So let's see some of the highlights here. Well, of course, Johnny Rockets, I imagine, is best known for burgers, right? Seems logical. Immediately, their menu on their website hits you with these gorgeous images of burgers. First off, the smokehouse. Thick-cut applewood smoked bacon, crispy sourdough onion rings, Wisconsin cheddar cheese, and their special recipe, Smokehouse Barbecue Ranch. Oh my lord, I am sold already. Next up, they have the Spicy Houston, which features spicy jalapenos, pepper jack cheese, crispy leaf lettuce, and smoking chipotle ranch. Yum. Up next, I feel like I'm presenting stars on the red carpet or something. Or like to an award show. Up next. Or maybe a game show. Maybe that's a better analogy. I feel like I'm on The Price is Right or something. Or on Jeopardy when they're introducing the contestants. A 35-year-old math teacher from Madison, Wisconsin. And now I'm just thinking about how much I love Jeopardy. They have like 3 or 4 seasons on Hulu that I saw. And it's amazing how a show that has the exact same format for years and years and years can be so entertaining. There was a sketch, I think, on the Conan O'Brien show where they show how really over the years Alex Trebek's cadence when he asks questions and all that has literally never changed. Like, he delivers the same line every time in every episode with the same sort of like voice frequency and everything. And yet, yeah, it's, I mean, he's been the host of the show for whatever, 35, 40 seasons, something absurd like that. So, getting back to the food, because I'm in a hungry mood. We have up next we have the bacon cheddar, which pretty much has exactly what you'd think. And so far, what I'm loving about this Johnny Rockets menu is they use great images of burgers that make them look so appealing. And the funny thing is, at the end of the day, they're just burgers. Probably not that much better or worse than ones you'd find anywhere else. But they make them look and sound so appealing. Because the bacon cheddar, it isn't just a beef patty with lettuce, cheese, and tomato. Oh, no. It's thick-cut applewood smoked bacon, Wisconsin cheddar cheese, crispy leaf lettuce, fresh tomato, sliced onion, and special sauce. It's perfect. It just adds that bit of excitement to the product. They know what they're doing. They obviously know what they're doing. They have like 200 or 300 locations across the country, so they know how to. Excuse me, as I yawn. I'm recording this kind of late at night for a change. Okay, up next, and the last one I'm seeing here, Route 66, certified Angus beef patty covered with Swiss cheese, grilled mushrooms, caramelized onions, and mayo on a brioche bun. So out of that bunch, I would probably pick, as I go back to review the candidates, I would probably pick the Smokehouse. It is the most appetizing burger on the menu, in my opinion. It's the thick applewood smoked bacon, the onion rings, and the Smokehouse barbecue ranch. It just sounds perfect to me. Obviously, I'll pair that with French fries. Next, I'm noticing on the menu they have a pretty big selection of milkshakes. Hershey's chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, Oreo cookies and cream, strawberry Oreo crumble. Wow, that's interesting. Peanut butter banana, chocolate peanut butter, chocolate banana, chocolate strawberry kiss, and banana. So if I were to go with something plain and regular, I'd probably just go with vanilla milkshake. I love vanilla. I love vanilla ice cream. I love vanilla milkshakes. It's whatever. My cousin is total opposite, right? I mean, he's a total chocolate guy. Every time he comes over and he sees vanilla ice cream, or if we go somewhere to eat and I get a vanilla, milkshake or whatever, he can't fathom in his head that someone prefers vanilla. That's how much he loves chocolate. Oh well, can't we all get along? So yeah, if I went with something plain, I go with vanilla. If I were to try something a little bit out of the ordinary, or something that isn't considered, I guess, quote unquote standard flavor, I'd probably try the peanut butter banana. That sounds very appetizing to me. So there you have it. I apply my Johnny Rockets selections before even going or planning my trip to Johnny Rockets. It's delicious. Sounds delicious. I'll let you know how it goes when I try it out. Email me if you're really that interested in knowing about my experience, because maybe literally zero of you care. So if that's the case, I won't bore you with the follow-up. So a success story, recently is I tried Boston Market, which I know is really dorky, and it's silly to even admit, but once again, Boston Market was one of those places that for a long time I noticed as a kid, and I wanted to try it, and I never asked my parents to take me. But recently I did go to Boston Market, and I did eat there, and it was kind of surreal. Even though, again, it's incredibly dorky. I understand that. I really, really know. I don't know what it is. I mean, I think maybe the attachment with Boston Market is a little bit of, perhaps a little bit of nostalgia. I remember because it was kind of on a corner, between my parents' house and where my grandmother lived, and so every time we go to my grandmother's house and back, which was very frequently, we would pass that Boston Market on the way there. And I don't know, maybe it reminds me of that trip going back and forth that I always just had so much affinity and sort of, there was always a connection there with Boston Market that there really shouldn't have been, but I think in my head as a kid, I kind of placed some sentimental attachment because I just always noticed the Boston Market there. So anyway, I did eat there. It was surreal. Oddly enough, I can't quite remember what I ate. I think it was a turkey sandwich. Pretty sure it was a turkey sandwich, which I remember as being pretty good. My sides, I think, were mac and cheese and mashed potatoes, something along those lines. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, but it wasn't anything amazing. And I guess it's not surprising. It's supposed to be fast, casual meals that are reminiscent of homemade meals. That's what I would say about it, at least. They have, rotisserie chicken, soups, salads. Again, they're offering home-style meals that are, supposed to be reminiscent of having family dinners or homemade meals. And I suppose it's not a bad alternative for a family dinner. Overall, it was fine. I was glad to have tried it. If I were to go back, what would I maybe have? I'd probably want to try the rotisserie chicken by itself. And I would probably want to try, I think they have, for obviously the holiday season, they have a turkey. Ooh, excuse me, jeez, yawning today. They have they have turkey dishes that they've been advertising outside recently. Like we're supposed to, wait in anticipation for, and yeah, I mean it looks pretty good. Would I go back? I probably would, but I'm not actively planning on doing it. Maybe if I'm in the area and hungry, it'll just come to my head and I'll jump on the offer. But I'm not planning a trip. One of the things about me is I sort of get into these habits about everything. My morning routine, my afternoon routine, my nightly routine, what I do first thing in the morning, what I do last thing at night, what I do. And for the most part, obviously, one tries to save money and reduce your household expenses by not ordering out so much and pretty much every day now for lunch. For a while I've taken either leftovers from last night, or I'll make myself a sandwich at home and then take it to the office and whatever it may be. But yeah, so as odd as it may be, I mean, I'm not a very spontaneous sort of, let me just eat here, the other thing is where I work it's not exactly in the middle of like a big city, or it's not in the middle of an area where you have 4, 5, 6, 7 suitable lunch options within a walking distance. I have a couple of things nearby, but it's basically just like a Starbucks which is like 3 or 4 blocks down. It's not even like it's that close necessarily. And that actually might be it, to be honest. Thinking what else I have. The general area, there's some good lunch options. And when I do order food, Uber Eats does offer a lot of options in the area, but it just depends. But even then, like something like Uber Eats, I always tell myself I want to experiment, and then I always end up ordering, from the same 1 or 2 restaurants every time. I'm a sucker for a really nice quesadilla. I'm a sucker for those. I think they're so delicious. And I think, even if they've been, here's the thing, there's certain foods obviously that translate better when being delivered. I would never order like a steak. I'm sure a lot of people do, but I would never order a steak so that by the time it gets to me, it's been cooking itself in the container on the drive over. It's cold. It cooked more than it should be. And now I can either eat it cold or I can try heating it up, but I don't have like a stove or anywhere or an oven to try to heat it up and have it, really warm throughout, because I like eating, food warm food that's supposed to be hot. I like eating really hot. So I never order those things. Even breakfast items, I used to do that a lot, because I really would enjoy, on a Saturday or Sunday morning ordering, bacon and eggs and toast and I don't know, a pancake or whatever, and having that for breakfast while watching, whatever, so football on Sunday or whatever it may be. And, wow, another yawn. I'm not bored. I promise. I'm not bored being here. I'm tired. I'm doing this basically right before bed because I need to get this episode out. Not that I need to. I want to. It's important for me to maintain that consistency of uploading and not missing episodes. And, I was looking it over. I haven't missed an episode at this point, I think, in 2.5 years. Which for me is amazing, right? Because I started this episode. I started this episode, it feels like to you, probably 7 years ago. But I started this podcast at this point, I think 2.5 or 3 years ago. And, I pretty much just started as a project, something that I wanted for myself, something that I knew people were going to want, just because I felt that there were a lot of great ASMR creators on YouTube. But as it pertained to podcasting and as it pertained to just something that you can sort of digest, in 15, 20, 30 minutes, these quick little kind of sound bites to help you get into the mood of relaxation. I really didn't feel that there were any good alternatives. There were a lot of things that were, an hour long or again only on YouTube. And I said, why not have, I'm sure there are people that want, to basically explore different content every week. And I knew this because I was someone, or I am someone that's a lot like that. The episode that I fall asleep to yesterday is not necessarily the same one I want to fall asleep to tomorrow or tonight or whatever. So, not that you probably care. But again, going back to the spontaneity, food, and all that, even when it comes to ordering on Uber Eats, I'm always telling myself, oh, this would be really fun. Let me try this restaurant. Let me try there. And again, this isn't even something that I do that often anymore, because, for the most part, I bring food with me, to the office. But yeah, it's like the same 2 restaurants over and 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 over again. So I don't end up, bottom line is, a lot of these places that I want to try, I don't end up getting to. Just because I don't allow myself to be as spontaneous as I should be when it comes to my meal choices. So, let's switch over to diners. what is it? Diners, drive-ins, and dives. Is that it? Diners, drive-ins, and dives. The TV show that I allude to in the title of this episode. You may be wondering why I started talking about Johnny Rockets, Boston Markets, so on and so forth. Well, the inspiration for this episode really came from the fact that I was watching an episode of said TV show. And while I don't browse too much TV these days, Triple D is one of those shows that I pretty much always stop at least for a little bit. The episode I saw, they were in a place called Bun and Barrel, or something like that. And they serve Texas barbecue from what I recall. And this is what got me thinking about food and all these different food goals I have. Now, the show is entertaining, but it can get a little played out, right? And there isn't a whole lot of growth in food shows, is there? There are basically only two paths. And the first one is, it's one that teaches you how to cook, like what Emerald used to do back in the day, or Rachel Ray. Rachel Ray? Is that her name? I think it's Rachel Ray. And the second path is Triple D, where you visit restaurants and you talk to the chef. They show you their food. You know, they show you how they make a dish, and then the host tries it. He or she loves it. The people love it. That's why they're eating there. And there isn't a lot of variety for the most part. I mean, I guess you have MasterChef, Hell's Kitchen, those kinds of shows that really are different than the two paths I just mentioned. Yeah. I'm not a TV producer. And that's evident. I'm not even sure what the point is I'm trying to make. I guess I just want to give you a little bit of insight as to how I came up with this topic that that we started off with today and kind of rambled on about. Yeah, those TV shows are dangerous though, aren't they? Because you start seeing them, and you oh, cool, they're in this cool location. Oh, I've heard of that restaurant. Oh, I've never heard of that place, but wow, that looks so cool. And then your head starts spinning, right? You start thinking like, man, that'd be delicious. Then they show you what they're making. We got a brisket sandwich. You see them making. You see the host trying it. You see he or she just gloating over how glorious it is. They serve this like delicious milkshake. You're like, geez, I want that now. They make these, this I don't know. I mean, even simple things like they make this gorgeous, like linguine pasta with some shrimp on top and a little bit of, basil and olive oil, and you're just like, wow. But I guess it works the opposite way too, because if you are eating at something, if you're eating something delicious when you're watching these shows, it is so much more satisfying to eat that meal than obviously watching something else or not watching anything at all, because you're in your head, you're sort of playing up like, wow, this is so delicious. Unless they're like chips or something like that, then I end up getting really disappointed, because it's like these are nowhere near as delicious as the items that these people on TV are eating and enjoying. So anyway, I think I'm going to end the episode here. Hopefully you are asleep by now. Otherwise, thank you for staying up. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, you can reach the show at hello@sleepandrelaxasmr.com. Check out our website, sleepandrelaxasmr.com. That's all for this episode. Thanks as always for listening, and take care.